The gospel reading is from Matthew's 22nd chapter, verses 15 to 22, and then verses 34 to 40. Then the Pharisees went and plotted to entrap him in what he said. So they sent their disciples to him, along with the Herodians, saying, "Teacher, we know that you are sincere, and teach the way of God in accordance with truth, and show deference to no one, for you do not regard people with partiality. Tell us then what you think is it lawful to pay taxes to the emperor or not?" But Jesus, aware of their malice, said, "Why are you putting me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin used for the tax." And they brought him a denarius. Then he said to them, "Whose head is this and whose title?" They answered, "The emperor's." Then he said to them, "Give therefore to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and to God the things that are God's." When they heard this, they were amazed, and they left him and went away. When the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. "Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" He said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And a second is like it, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets." Here endeth the lesson. Today is the 12th day of Christmas. The bulletin says it's Epiphany Sunday. We celebrate when the three wise men arrived at the manger scene. In fact, in our lectionary calendar, it says in Spanish, Dia de Reyes, which means Day of the Kings. But really, I keep thinking of the 12th day of Christmas when my true love sent to me 12 drummers drumming. Well, it talks about the gifts, the wise men bringing their gifts, frankincense, gold, and myrrh. Much later than when the babe first arrived, of course, if you put the details of the gospel story to their test. Someone has observed that if the three wise men had been three wise women, they would have been on time, because they would have asked directions. And their gifts would have been more practical. They would have been diapers and formula. Because who wants frankincense and myrrh? Myrrh is embalming fluid. And what would a mother and father do with incense? Gold, I guess they could save. But while there were 12 drummers around here drumming someplace, the communion table is also prepared for us, that we might come to the beginning of a new year, not glad that the rush of the Christmas season is over and things are getting back to normal, whatever that is, but that we've been reminded in so many different ways that it is now up to us to find ways to take the Christmas spirit with us and the changed lives that the holiday season was supposed to have made happen. I want us to think this morning about how our memories help us to plan the future, how our memories are made for us. Today is the memories of the Christmas story, read for us so many times and depicted in song and pageant and art and poetry. The wise men bringing valuable gifts to the baby king, reminding us that we bring the very best that we have to the Christ Spirit. We have memories of coming to the communion table countless times to share the Thanksgiving meal with our Christian brothers and sisters, walking away strengthened every time. But things that happen to us as we grow up make the memories that last all through our lives, don't they? Many of them we can't control. Where we are born, who our parents were, how many brothers and sisters we had, who makes up our family circle, who makes up the neighborhood we lived in, the neighborhood school we went to, who our classmates were, our teachers, the church we went to, who the priest was there or the minister, who were the teachers and the youth leaders. Memories are made from the places we worked, the sports we shared, whether we took music lessons or not. Some experiences were the results of choices that we made that no one else could have made for us. The opportunities were put there by our parents or other adults and friends, but the final decisions were our own. No matter what suggestions they might have made, what threats they might have made, what bribery they might have held out before us. One of my adult mentors as I was growing up at Greendale People's Church in Worcester was a blessed soul named Bill Campbell. Bill knew that I wanted to become a minister, but that I was being tempted to join the Navy after high school. It was 1946. So that I could take advantage of what the Navy was offering to pay my college education. But Bill got me a job he worked in the shop he worked in, so that I could get a little money ahead and go to college instead. And I'm thinking how different are the memories that I bring to today because of my going to college and then to seminary than if I had had military service. One of the things I've enjoyed most in my ministry was teaching the young people in the confirmation classes. One thing I tried to get across to them, I don't know, you never want to get everything across that you wanted to, but one thing I tried to get across was that the choice they're making to become a follower of Christ was maybe the first decision that they made on their very own. Every other decision had been made for them up to this point. Family and everything else, where to live and how many brothers and sisters and how much money the family had to share. But after this, I tried to convince them that after this, all the decisions you're going to make are going to be different because they'll be based on having you accepted Christ into your life. It'll make a difference now, what you do for education, your choice of an occupation, your choice of a mate, your choice of how you'll be a good neighbor, a good citizen, honest and charitable and helpful. So always pray for the kids in our confirmation classes, don't we? That the decision they make will make the difference, and make memories for them, make different memories as long as they live. So today's choices make the memories that we live by. When the governments of two countries are forced into decisions to go to war, how lives are changed in ways that not a single person would have chosen by herself or himself. Whether they go to the war zone or stay at home and support it with their work and their prayers. There's not a person who's not affected when history is interrupted and a military confrontation takes place between two nations. There's an instant change in what memories will be in people's lives, again, as long as they live. Think of the beautiful freedoms that our religion offers us with great value. We make all of our choices and our memories because we're free to do so. The greatest gift that God has given to us as children is that we're free to make the choices that glorify Him and make His will happen. To love God and love neighbor. Those are the commandments that make up the framework for the choices that we make about how we live together.